Oh my goodness, it is cold. I'm so thankful for butt heaters on new cars. So it's Tuesday, October 19th, I believe, and we're just a few days away from the release of Dune here in the United States. It's already released internationally and doing very well. And I thought I'd make a video. Some of us are getting very excited, and I know probably a lot more people are getting confused about what the big deal with this is and why so many of us are very excited about it. So I thought I'd make a video about what Dune means to me and why I'm excited about this movie specifically. And so Dune is a 1965 science fiction novel by Frank Herbert. A lot of us kind of got into it when we were younger. I picked it up when I was around 13 and read it for the first time and just fell in love with it. And it's kind of the only series that I've returned to over the years, multiple times over. It's been a while since I've read it, but I have read it many more times than any of the others, including Lord of the Rings. Dune is it's different than a lot of stories. It's kind of got all those same standard narrative elements that you expect from an adventure, action, sci-fi novel series. All of the political intrigue and manipulations and feuds and fights for power and technology and all that good stuff. But it's also got a lot of kind of philosophy and discussions on the nature of power and religion and messianic tendencies and all of these kind of things. And I'm not saying it's like a revelation or anything, but it did kind of get me thinking in new ways when I was younger. It kind of pushed me into a few realms that maybe I wouldn't have ever considered getting into. And I think probably had something to do with my love of physics and thinking about the nature of time and free will and those sorts of things. Because in the movie, the ability to kind of calculate or see the various futures is a big feature, a big plot in the story. It was also the first story that I ever encountered that kind of subverted the way things are normally done in these narratives. Like I said, it's got all the standard narratives, but it's got some extra stuff there too. And it was the first time, excuse me, it was the first time that I had ever kind of encountered a story that subverted that standard hero's journey. Like Paul is not, a Harry Potter. He kind of seems like he's going to be a Harry Potter at first, but he is not a Harry Potter. He winds up being a pretty colossal failure, and almost partially, at least, through no fault of his own. He was set up to rule. He was set up to do these great things and be this great man. And you think that this is where the story is going, that he's going to kind of vanquish the foes and be a good leader and a good ruler. And it turns out that he's trapped in this system that created him, and it leads to disaster. His son eventually has to kind of take on the burden of his father's bad decisions. But so that was the first time I kind of encountered that. Discussions on things like the danger of religious manipulation and religious systems and how that can play into political control and people can be manipulated. I feel like that's very appropriate for these days. But I'm probably not selling the book to a lot of people. It is a dense read. There's a lot to it, a lot going on. But as a young kid, I just really loved it, and kind of helped me get into some new ways of thought. So those are the novels. For the movie, okay. So what's exciting about the movie? The movie is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and if you've never seen any of his work, he is absolutely astonishing, amazing director. Did Sicario and Arrival, and just absolutely not the modern director, not a modern style director. Takes his time with his shots, likes to let you soak in the scene. And for my entire lifetime, the scene cuts, jump cuts, have just been getting faster and faster and faster. And it's to the point where I can't, maybe I'm just slow, but I can't even tell what they're trying to show me lots of times, especially during action sequences. I can't follow it. There are too many cuts. It just doesn't work with my mind as well as the slow take, the long take. So like Blade Runner 2049, I thought was just a gorgeous movie, and I love the pacing. A lot of people probably thought it was too slow, but I thought it was just amazing. And that's the kind of work Denis Villeneuve does. He's kind of the only guy out there, Alex Garland being the other, who kind of, they like to take their time with the scenes. And it's wonderful to see someone who's it reminds you of something like Lawrence of Arabia. That's the old school directing styles. And so anyway, Hans Zimmer on the score. I forgot the cinematographer's name, but he's also a very accomplished cinematographer. A lot of people in makeup are well recognized, and set design and costume design, and it's just, I'm sure it's going to be great. It's going to be a very hard thing to adapt for the screen, but there's a lot of star power. The acting, the reviews on the acting are all coming back very positive. Jason Momoa's Duncan Idaho. I'm not going to have a super big role in the first film, but you know, if we get more films, you never know what could happen. Try not to give any spoilers, I guess. But anyway, a lot of us are very excited. It's I'm going to see it in the theater multiple times, I'm sure, and I hope maybe some of my friends can go out and see it with me. Hope that we can get together, and I'd love to see it. I want to see it in IMAX, but I don't think there's an IMAX showing in Huntsville. Sadly enough, I think we're going to have to go to another city to see this in IMAX, and I believe that it was shot specifically for IMAX. So I do want to take a trip to Nashville or Birmingham or whatever, if anybody's interested, and let's get together and make a little short trip of it. And that's kind of it. And that's what Dune means to me, and why I'm excited about the movie. And hopefully this is the first part of the first book, the first half of the first book. So hopefully if we get enough people, it's going to be on HBO Max. I don't know what that'll do for the box office numbers, but if enough people see it in the theater, maybe we'll get part 2, and maybe even a third movie. Warner Brothers might greenlight movies 2 and 3. You can hope, if it makes enough money. But anyway, we'll see what happens, and hopefully some of my friends will get to come out and see it with us. It's going to be a good show, I'm sure. Those are my thoughts on Dune and why I'm excited about it.